G'day RadioLogik DJ lovers. Got a little workaround for you here that I think might be quite useful. And this is where you're utilizing the intros or your outros for songs, pre-recorded drops that you can put in there as a pre-recorded shift, or even your timestamps. This could be a good way to get around it. What you may have noticed if you've just recorded a dry timestamp or intro or outro is that the volume difference is very different to what can be coming in from iTunes. Because iTunes, obviously, if you've got your little tick box that's going to make sure iTunes plays everything pretty much relative, it'll lift the volume, it'll drop the volume to make everything sound relative, okay? That can be a problem when you're not drawing in your intros and outros and timestamps from iTunes, because they come in your intros and outros folder from RadioLogik DJ, or your timestamps and time announce folder. And of course, these are all AIF folders, and they don't go via iTunes at all, so they don't get that kind of a process. So this little workaround could be quite helpful, because what I found is the continuity, everything just drops away. You want to be able to hear the DJ, and you want to be able to hear what's being said amongst everything else quite clearly. Here's the little issue that I was dealing with. So I'll play this for you and show you what I'm talking about. Here comes the sweet and up-close voice of Rachel Yamagata. Okay, so see how that drops away? So what we want to do is be able to lift the volume of that voiceover, especially when you're coming out of a loud song and you want to come into, it's a quieter song, that's fine, or any song, but just even if it's between two loud songs, you've got this quieter voiceover. So what you can do, and what I suggest you do if you haven't got an audio editor already, is go grab one. One of the simple ones obviously is Audacity. Audacity is free. I also use Reaper, which you get a 100-day free trial, and that's a multi-track of very good quality. And at the same time, there's also a bunch of cool built-in presets that you can utilize. Now this here, so I've just brought this track in here. This was the same voiceover, so I'll just play it for you now. Here comes the sweet and up-close voice of Rachel Yamagata. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to come up into here and go to Effect, and we want to compress that vocal. So that voiceover, that liner, whatever it is that you've got, the timestamp, and we want to lift the whole volume of it higher, but at the same time, make it stand out amongst everything else. So just drop in here to Compressor. Now, probably a good place to start is, let's leave that at that 4.1. So that's your ratio. So you want to compress it to that. Now this here is what you want to play around with a little bit, is just your threshold. So that's when the compression starts happening. So you can actually preview. Here comes the sweet and up-close voice of Rachel Yamagata. So you can see already how much that has changed. So if we have the not so high, the threshold, so that way it'll only be touching the tops and not so much the bottoms. Here comes the sweet and up-close voice of Rachel Yamagata. So personally, I'd probably bring that down to about there. And try these settings out yourself. Just have a look at this one, what it is, and try them out yourself and see what works best with the way that you've recorded your voiceover. So we'll hit the big OK button on there, and you can see how the whole dynamic range has changed. It's lifted everything louder, but it's also squashed down the peaks more, so they're closer to the quieter parts of that voiceover. So I'll play that one. Here comes the sweet and up-close voice of Rachel Yamagata. Okay, so we'll just mute that, and I'll give you this is the original. Here comes the sweet and up-close voice of Rachel Yamagata. Quite different, eh? So there we go, play it one more time. Here comes the sweet and up-close voice of Rachel Yamagata. See how it sounds just a little bit more in your face and a lot closer, so that should fit a lot better. So what we want to do is we want to go to export that from the file menu. Let's go export selection, because we only want that top one. The other one's just for an example. And we want to save that into our RadioLogik intros. And I'll call this number 2. So you've got to have the name of the artist and a dash, and then you can have a number of different intros or outros as long as they've got sequential numbers, and that way it'll pick from whichever one it wants to and alternate them. So we want to save that as AIFF, because it's the only one RadioLogik DJ is going to like. No good saving it as a wave. Hit the big old save button, Jump over that. Let's go back to RadioLogik DJ. And what we'll do, we'll go to our play history. And we'll just rerun everything we did there before. And that way, go there, hit that back to the top of the program. And we'll go and find, where is it? Here. Number 2. And we'll drop that into there. There we go. So now we've got the alternation. So what we'll do is, we'll watch this. So watch your ears on this song. It's obviously a louder song to start with. So here we go at the end. This is Rich Goyette, good friend of mine. Great artist. Here comes the sweet and up-close voice of Rachel Yamagata. Here comes the sweet and up-close voice of Rachel Yamagata. Hear the difference? Much better, isn't it? So you actually got better continuity right between those two tracks, from a louder track right down to a more quieter track, but the vocal beefed up and just so much better. So I hope that helps you guys in your quest for better radio wherever you're broadcasting. So if you like the video, make sure you click the big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. There'll be more stuff coming out soon. If there's any other help that you like, drop me a line and we'll see if we can work something out for you. Cheers.